Hey everybody, this is Jason Ostrowski, and welcome to a year-end edition of the Everything Real Estate Podcast. I find it hard to believe that we are already at the end of 2023, and it certainly seems, or at least it feels to me, that a lot has happened this past calendar year. And so today, I am flying solo. It's certainly been a long time since I've done a podcast by myself, but we are going to go over the good, the bad, and the ugly from 2023 and potentially project a little bit into what's going to happen in 2024. So consider this podcast episode our official year in review for 2023. And the first thing that we're going to start out with is the current state of the market. Where are we right now after a somewhat tumultuous year? Well, I think the good news for all of us heading into 2024 is that rates have ticked below what I consider to be the magic number, and that is 7% in terms of your interest rate on a 30-year fixed loan. I've talked to several lenders recently, and I always ask them, now that we've dipped below 7%, do you see mortgage applications going up? And every single one of them has told me yes. And so I think that's reflected now in the marketplace, is that we're seeing buyers come back into the market. So that's one bit of good news, but now they're back into the market. What are they buying, right? And we need inventory. As always, during the pandemic, it's the same old story. Inventory is down even further, and that is because what we saw in 2023 was a lot of the locked-in effect. The locked-in effect basically states that 70% of the homeowners out there have had an interest rate under 4%, and they are loath to give that up. And so until they do, we are going to have that bottleneck again of trying to get X amount of buyers through to the one or two properties that are available in a neighborhood. So if the interest rates continue to fall, I think then we are actually going to see some more inventory open up. Sellers will be more willing to sell in 2024 as interest rates drop even further. And that is good news for us, because when it comes to units sold, I don't know if any of you watched Buffini's bold predictions the other day, but sales were down in terms of units almost 23% or a little over 23% nationally, and that is just not sustainable for us. We need to be able to sell homes, and we need homes to sell in order to do that. So 2024 looks to be a better year around the bend for all of us. And Buffini, I think, was predicting that unit sales would be up about 18%. Now, that is just one person's opinion, but that is good news. And it makes sense that if the interest rates obviously are getting lower, that is good for buyers, but it's also good for sellers who want to sell their home but do not want to give up that interest rate that they have. So in 2024, we hope to see more movement, more listings come on the market. But affordability is going to be an issue still moving forward. The interest rate drop will absolutely help buyers afford more, but over a third of the transactions this past year were cash deals. And I don't know where that leaves us for first-time home buyers who can't put a large down payment down. We all have worked with buyers where if you're putting under 20% down, sometimes it's really hard to compete when there is a multiple offer situation. And so I don't know particularly how you solve that issue moving forward. Obviously, like I said, the interest rates will help, but we have to figure out a way to help these buyers that don't have a large down payment, put them into homes, because owning a home is the greatest way to build wealth. Another big story from 2023 in the real estate world was the advancement of AI, or artificial intelligence, and in particular ChatGPT. We've heard ChatGPT so many times now that it's come synonymous with artificial intelligence, just like jacuzzi is to hot tub or Kleenex is to tissues. ChatGPT is one of many AI platforms out there, but it is the most popular one. And I hope you've had an opportunity to sit down and actually try ChatGPT and see what it can do for you. This new technology can be your unpaid or paid assistant, depending on what version of ChatGPT you decide to use, but it can do so much for your business. And so if you haven't started using ChatGPT, I would wholeheartedly suggest that you start using it. Get used to it because it's not going away. It's going to become an everyday part of our routine, our business, our lives, you name it. AI is going to be everywhere moving forward. And if what I say gives you anxiety or you're feeling overwhelmed by AI, particularly ChatGPT, you can always go to foxroach.ai. There you will find what we call the playbook, which is being updated at all times with new information, but that will help you get started and give you an overview on how to use ChatGPT effectively for your business. So don't feel overwhelmed. Go to foxroach.ai and get started with ChatGPT today. Another big story that we heard in 2023, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but most of you, if not all of you, have heard about the lawsuits that are surrounding our industry at this point. What I would say to you is do not focus on the things that you cannot control. Focus on what you can control. And what we can control are the things that we should always be working on. And that is increasing our knowledge base, increasing our professionalism, doing the best job that we can possibly do. And we are going to be perfectly fine. No matter what the outcome, we will always be a valuable resource to our clients. So let's make a conscious decision to block out all the noise and focus on having your best year yet in 2024. And in order to help you have your best year yet in 2024, I'm going to do something this year that I started doing last year with all of you, and that is giving you my word of the year. I want you all to think about what your word for the year in 2024 is going to be. For example, last year, my word for 2023 was execute. And so this year, whenever I felt like I was feeling lazy, when I was feeling unmotivated, when I felt like I was in a valley, right? We all have peaks, but it's what you do in the valley that counts to get you through. I thought about that word execute. And the word execute became my mantra throughout the year of 2023. So this year, my word is now going to be expand for 2024. I want to expand my business. I want to expand my marketing. I want to expand my market share. I want to expand my knowledge base. So that will be my new mantra going forward in 2024. So all of you out there, think about what your word is going to be. And believe me, if you start doing this, it does make a difference. This rings in my mind all the way through the year, and it will help me stay focused on the things that I wish to accomplish in 2024. Last but not least, I wanted to take a couple of minutes out there to tell you what I am grateful for this holiday season. Reflecting back on when we started the podcast, I didn't know that anybody would want to listen to me talk, right? And so we took a leap of faith and we started the podcast hoping that you all would enjoy it and get something out of it. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for your listenership. There is nothing in the world that means more to me than when I go to an office somewhere and someone comes up to me and says that they enjoy the podcast and they just wanted to say hi. And this podcast has opened many doors for me and has allowed me to forge many new friendships with you. And I am forever grateful for that. And so in 2024, we're going to be coming up on our 100th episode. And I am super excited to not only reach that 100 mark, but hopefully do another 100 more. And hopefully you will be out there listening to what we have to say. So I truly appreciate you. I thank you. And I am forever grateful for your listenership. Happy holidays. Well, that's it for the podcast this week. We will be back in another couple of weeks with a new topic, a new guest. And as always, if you want to hear something that we haven't covered yet, please reach out to me, jason.ostrowski@foxroach.com. And if you haven't liked and subscribed to the podcast yet, please do so. It helps us to reach more people. Once again, this is Jason Ostrowski saying stay safe out there, stay selling, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Everything Real Estate Podcast.